2019 On Halloween night in Haddonfield, Corey Cunningham arrives at the Allen house to babysit a boy named Jeremy while his parents attend a party. While Mrs. Allen tells Corey to put Jeremy to bed early since he's been scared from the previous year's Halloween massacre, Corey ends up putting on a horror movie for the boy, who claims not to be scared. When Corey tells Jeremy to go to bed, he mouths off to him. Corey goes to the kitchen for a snack but overhears a noise. He investigates and Jeremy isn't there. From upstairs, Jeremy begins screaming and calling for help. Corey grabs a knife and looks in the attic where he gets locked in. It was a prank from Jeremy, who won't let him out. Just as Jeremy's parents return, Corey kicks the door with enough force to send Jeremy flying over the balcony, smashing his face on the floor below. His parents rush to his side in a panic, and Mrs. Allen, seeing the knife in Corey's hand, accuses him of murder. 3 years later, Laurie Strode is living with Allyson, the two of them still moving on from Karen's murder. Laurie has been writing a novel about her ordeal with Michael Myers, and how Hanfield has had to deal with the aftermath of his latest massacre while on her way to work at the hospital. Allyson is pulled over by her ex, Officer Doug Mullany, who still carries a torch for her, but he also tells her to fix her muffler. Corey has been free after being acquitted and works at a garage/junkyard. His boss Ronald gifts him with a motorcycle. Corey later rides his bike to the convenience store and grabs chocolate milk, but on his way out he is approached by 4 teens, Terry, Billy, Stacy and Margot, who ask for him to buy them beer. Corey declines and the teens then recognize him as the psycho babysitter. Terry taunts Corey and makes him angry enough to crush the milk bottle in his hand, causing a deep cut. Terry knocks him down because the milk got on him. Just as Laurie shows up and tells the teens to beat it. Laurie helps Corey to his feet and gives him a knife to slash the tires on Terry's car. Laurie takes Corey to the hospital, where Allyson tends to the cut on his hand. While in the office of Dr. Mathis, Corey knocks his equipment over by accident, causing Mathis to berate Allyson to clean up. Corey notes that she shouldn't let Mathis talk to her like that. He mentions he works at a garage, so he takes a look at Allyson's. And fixes her problem. Allyson takes a liking to Corey and invites him to go out with her at home. She is encouraged by both Laurie and Lindsay Wallace to pursue a new romance. Corey is shown at home living with his mother, Joan, who appears to be dating Ronald. She treats Corey like a child and is overly protective of him. After everyone in town labeled him a child murderer, he goes to his job where he tries to show Allyson how to ride his motorcycle while also noticing Terry showing up with his father to get his car fixed. Laurie goes to the supermarket where she runs into Frank Hawkins. They appear flirtatious toward one another, hinting at a mutual attraction. On her way out, Laurie is confronted by a woman related to Sandra, who survived her attack from Michael but was left speechless since he stuck a light through her throat and had to watch her husband be murdered, and the woman blames Laurie for luring Michael back to terrorize the town. Allyson invites Corey to a Halloween party, where he brings a scarecrow mask and appears to be having fun. He drops the mask and goes to get a drink, where he is seen by Mrs. Allen. She is drunk and angrily continues to believe that he deliberately murdered Jeremy, causing. Sorry to leave, Allyson tries to talk to Corey, but he just storms off thinking Allyson wasn't helping him by putting him out there with everyone who sees him as a killer. As Corey walks home, he is spotted by Terry and his friends, who continue to mess with him. While Corey tries walking away, Terry and Billy won't let him. Corey snaps and says how Terry's father hates him based on how he was talking to him at the garage. Terry and Billy then throw Corey over the bridge where he falls unconscious before the teens flee. In the darkness, an unseen figure drags Corey into the sewers. Corey wakes up in the sewers and tries to find a way out, only to be grabbed by the throat by Michael. As Corey struggles to free himself, Michael looks into Corey's eyes where it is implied he knows that Corey has killed before, so he lets him go. When he gets out, a homeless man approaches Corey with a knife and orders him to go back into the sewer and get Michael's mask. Corey fights the homeless man and ends up stabbing him to death. Corey goes to Allyson's house to find her and asks her to join him. He takes her to the abandoned Allen house where he explains what happened regarding Jeremy. They then go out to dinner, where Allyson is approached by Doug, leading to Corey nearly getting into it with him until Doug goes back with his friends. Meanwhile, Laurie gets concerned about them spending time together, since she believes she saw Michael in Corey's eyes, so she goes to his house to speak to Joan. Despite expressing sympathy, Joan insults Laurie over her involvement with Michael, claiming that Hanfield picked her son to be their next boogeyman. When Michael vanished, Corey drops Allyson off at home, where they share their first kiss. He rides his motorcycle away and is followed by Doug in his car. Corey goes back under the bridge toward the sewer and Doug finds the homeless man's body. Corey antagonizes Doug and gets him to follow him into the sewer. Corey tries to kill Doug with help from Michael, who is now visibly weaker and needs Corey to hold Doug down as he plunges his knife into Doug's body repeatedly. Corey then goes back to Allyson's house where they have sex at work. Allyson is bothered by her colleague Deb, who got a promotion over Allyson because Mathis likes her better. Deb comments about Allyson, who is constantly associated with surviving Michael being with the psycho babysitter until Allyson tells her to. Laurie goes to the bar with Lindsay where they are surprised to find Mr. Allen. He tells them that he doesn't harbor any hatred for Corey the way his wife does because he believes that the people of Haddonfield showing hatred toward him was them making the Allens' tragedy about themselves. Mr. Allen says that he tried to approach Corey and speak to him, but when he looked in his eyes, he felt that whoever Corey used to be is no longer there and that he is going down a dark path. Deb goes to the home of Dr. Mathis since they are having an affair. While he gets things ready and she goes to fix herself up, she overhears a struggle. Deb goes outside and finds Corey stabbing Mathis repeatedly. After putting a plastic bag over his head, Deb is found by Michael, who picks her up by the throat and impales her with his knife, leaving her hanging there. Corey takes Allyson out again and they climb to the top of the radio station building. They make plans to leave Haddonfield for good. When they climb down, they are found by local DJ Willie the Kid. He mocks the two as he does on his radio show, and he threatens them to leave. When Corey returns home, he is scolded at by Joan, who slaps him and then tries to kiss him. But he brushes her off. Halloween Day arrives and Corey ends up sleeping in the Allen house. Laurie is there and she orders him to stay away from Allyson. He yells at her for setting them up and calls her a freak show, but Laurie seems to have vanished before Corey can realize it. Corey calls Allyson and says they need to leave the town soon because he claims Laurie tried to kill him. Corey returns to the sewer and asks Michael for his mask, which turns into a struggle, ending with Corey managing to overpower Michael and grab his mask. Michael can still be seen rising after Corey leaves. Allyson goes home to get her things and argues with Laurie. When she tries to get her to stop, Corey scratches Psycho into Terry's car to bait him into chasing him to the junkyard. The teens find Corey's motorcycle and attempt to hook it up to their car and drag it. When Terry tells Billy to get it running, he finds Billy dead with a drumstick through his eye. Corey then drives a van towards Stacy and Margot, making them run and climb over a fence. Margot isn't quick enough and gets pinned under the fence. When Corey drives through it, Stacy goes to her side and gets beaten to death with a wrench. Terry goes to get help from Ronald, who gives him a rifle for protection, but when Ronald sees that it's Corey, he tries to get Terry to stop, complaining to get shot in the head. Corey grabs Terry and sticks a blowtorch in his mouth, melting Terry's face off. Corey then stomps on Margot's skull and runs over her body. Corey then returns to his house to stab his mother to death before returning to the radio station where he kills Willie's receptionist before smashing Willie's face on his turntables, mangling his jaw and then cutting off his tongue. Allyson tries to meet Corey where he told her to go, but he doesn't show up and doesn't answer. This phone Laurie tries to get in touch with Allyson but has no luck. She then calls 911 and reports a suicide. Laurie then takes a gun and appears ready to kill herself. As Corey goes up the stairs of her house, she hears a gunshot and a splatter but then finds it's just a pumpkin. Laurie anticipated this and shoots Corey, causing him to fall down the stairs. Realizing he will be exposed, Corey stabs himself in the jugular. Laurie goes to pull the knife out just as Allyson comes home, making it look like Laurie murdered Corey. Allyson cries and flees as Laurie tries to explain. Moments later, Michael returns and grabs his mask from Corey, who turns out to be still alive. He fights Michael for the mask until Michael grabs his head and starts his neck, killing Corey for good. Just as Allyson is heading out, She gets a call from the police, who report the suicide attempt, and Allyson realizes what's going on. Laurie and Michael then begin their final showdown, with Michael throwing Laurie all over the place and then trying to stick her hand in a running garbage disposal. Laurie manages to grab Michael's knife and impale his hand onto her kitchen counter. She grabs another knife and rams it through his. And then? Laurie removes Michael's mask to get a good look at his face, acknowledging him not as the boogeyman, but a regular man. She slits Michael's throat, but he attempts one last attack before Allyson shows up and helps Laurie slit Michael's wrist, finally putting an end to her nemesis. As Hawkins and the rest of the police arrive, they get a good look at Michael's corpse and have the police send an alert. The entire town of Haddonfield gathers and follows Laurie, Allyson, and the police to the junkyard. They throw Michael's body into a compactor, ensuring that there is no way he will ever come back, and finally putting an end to the town's nightmare. Allyson reconciles with Laurie, saying she knows Corey really was evil in the end. She decides to move out of Haddonfield on her own, carrying her parents' wedding rings around her neck. Laurie completes her novel by stating that while Michael is finally gone, evil never really goes away and just takes on a different shape. She is then visited by Hawkins, who brings her groceries before they sit down to chat and potentially pursue a relationship. The final shots are of Laurie's empty house while a faint breathing noise is heard and Michael's mask rests on the coffee table. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.